Electricity workers suspend nationwide strike. Zamfara State Governor assents to 3 social protection laws to address multiple vulnerabilities in the state. On business news, Emirates suspends all Nigerian flights over $85 million blocked funds. On international scene, an explosion occurred in a mosque in Kabul. On sports, Onyenizide named Woman of the Match in Falconet win versus Canada at the ongoing 2022 Under-20 Women World Cup. Welcome to Standard Voice News Channel. I am Samira Ibrahim with today's bulletin. Electricity workers have suspended their nationwide strike, which led to a total blackout in different parts of the country. The electricity workers under the joint umbrella of the Nigerian National Union of Electricity Employees and Senior Staff Association of Electricity and Allied Companies agreed to suspend the industrial action, following the intervention of the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngege. Dr. Chris Ngege had summoned an emergency conciliation meeting between the federal government and the workers on Wednesday to resolve issues that led to the industrial action. For more details on this story, over on to our correspondent, Rafi'a Nasara.
The issues are the alleged controversion of the condition of service and career progression, stigmatization of electricity staff by the Office of the Head of Service of the Federal and refusal of the market operators to fund the payment of entitlement of ex-PHCN staff as agreed in December 2019 agreement. Addressing journalists after the meeting, which lasted about 4 hours, the Secretary General of NUEE, Comrade Joe Ajeru, said they had been asked to suspend the strike action. Mr. Ajeru expressed hope that the government will act in good faith on the issue in dispute, which have lingered for 4 years. He said they will take a pause on the industrial action and wait for 2 weeks as agreed in the meeting for the government to address their grievance. Also, the president of SSAEC, Comrade Chikaben, assured the nation that the matter will be napped in bud before it escalated, adding that there will be no further blackout in any part of the country. On his part, Dr. Ngege said after exhausting deliberation on the issues in dispute, they agreed to constitute a bipartite committee to look into the grievance of the electricity workers and report back in 2 weeks. According to him, the members of the bipartite committees include the Minister of State for Power, J.D. Abba, Chairman, Permanent Secretary, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Permanent Secretary General Service, Office of the Head of Service of the Federation, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment, representative of the BPE, and 2 representatives from NUEE and SSAEC. Rafi'a Nasara reporting for SBTV News.
People in Zamfara State have been advised to always be careful of what they eat and how they prepare their food before consumption. The advice was given by the State Commissioner of Information, Honorable Ibrahim Magaji Dosara Kakakin Maradun, while condoling a family that lost 7 of its members after consuming food made out of grains suspected to be poisonous in Ambaza village of Dosara district in Maradun local government area of the state. For more details on the story, over on to Sumaya Dosara.
The commissioner said people should always verify to ensure that the food stuff they are about to prepare as their meals do not contain any insecticide or chemicals used in preserving them are not harmful to humans, with a view to ensuring safety of their lives. He described the death of the 7 members of the family as tragedy and prayed Allah to grant the deceased Al-Jannah Firdaus and the family the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss. Responding on behalf of the family, Malam Hassan Dambaza said he lost 2 of his wives, 3 children and 2 grandchildren in the incident. Malam Hassan thanked the commissioner for the condolence visit and prayed journey mercy for the commissioner and members of the entourage. The commissioner also paid another condolence visit to the family of Magajin Garin Dambaza, Alhaji Sani Wankin Hula, who died recently. Similarly, Honorable Ibrahim Dosara paid condolence visit in Dosara village over the death of the mother of Sarkin Pawan Dosara, Hajiya Amina, popularly known as Dogari, who died on Tuesday 16th August 2022, and the family of Malam Bako Muhammad Dosara, who also lost his child Abdulmuminu Bako at the early hours of Wednesday, 17th August 2022, and prayed Allah to grant the deceased Al-Jannah Firdaus and the families the fortitude to bear the loss. Sumaya Dozo reporting for SDTV News.
The Zamfara State Governor, Dr. Bello Muhammad Matawallan Maradun, has attended to the 3 laws recently passed by the State House of Assembly. They included a law to provide for the protection of children in Zamfara State and for other matters related thereto, persons with disability law and state social protection law. For more details, over to Rafi Amay Nasara.
Speaking at the event, Governor Bello Matawalle said the document will serve as guiding principle in coordinating all government social interventions, ensure proper targeting, and exit criteria of eligible beneficiaries that are expected to be mined from the state social register. According to the governor, the laws provided that the state social protection and disability funds should be provided and will, among other things, complement the state government's efforts in providing more access to children, women, persons with disabilities and other vulnerable groups in all aspects of life.
I assure the people of the state that this bill will help in so many ways, and as you know, I'm a father, have children, so we have to do everything for the protections of the children of the state, and therefore ask the committee to take the bills, go through it, work all the modalities out, and if necessary, anywhere they want the support of the Commonwealth, ready and we are there for them.
The governor commended the leadership and members of the State House of Assembly for their concern to the needs and aspiration of the citizen by passing the 3 bills into law. He further appreciated Islamic scholars, partners and women groups who advocate through the First Lady, Hajia Aisha Bello Matawalle, for their contribution, which according to him become part of what led to this speedy passage of bill and their subsequent assent for implementation.
Our scholars, ulamas, to make sure that it doesn't contravene our laws. Therefore, I thank the ulamas and other stakeholders who put their own input to actualize this bill. I thank everyone for contributing to make sure that this bill has been signed today by me. I thank you very much for your.
The occasion was attended by the State Deputy Governor, Senator Hassan Muhammad Nasiha, Speaker of Zamfara State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Nasiru Ma'azu Magaria, Zamfara State First Lady, Hajia Aisha Bello Muhammad Matawalli, Secretary to the State Government Alhaji Kabiru Balarabe, Chief of Staff Government House and his Deputy State APC Chairman, Principal Officers and members of the State House of Assembly, Honorable Commissioners, Permanent Secretaries and other senior government functionaries. Rafi Amina Sara reporting for SVTV News.
The Jigawa State Government has ordered the closure of all schools across the state. The Commissioner for Education in the state, Dr. Lawal Yusuf, who confirmed the development announcement in Dutse on Wednesday, cited security threat as reason behind the closure. Dr. Yusuf said the schools were closed on Wednesday morning after the state received intelligence reports about possible attacks on schools across the country, particularly in border states. Reports gathered that students, including those in border schools, were released to go home, and schools in the state were scheduled to close on Friday after completing third-term examination. However, the students who were still taking examinations were told to go home, a development that caused apprehension amongst residents of Dutse, the Jigawa state capital. The governor of Zamfara State, Dr. Bello Muhammad Matawallan Maradun, has facilitated the rescue of the officer in charge of Magami Outstation in Gusau local government area of the state from his kidnappers. The police officer, DSP Usman Ali, was kidnapped 4 days ago by a recalcitrant bandit along Gusau and Sadao Road. Governor Bello Matawalle facilitated the rescue of the abducted police officer without payment of any ransom, and the victim was presented to the governor on hot, hell and hearty. The governor expressed satisfaction with the measures that put in place by his administration in rescue mission of all kidnapped victims in the state and in neighboring states. While congratulating the abductee for regaining his freedom and returning to his family on hot, The governor prayed Almighty Allah to bring an end to banditry and other heinous crimes bedeviling the state. In a vote of thanks, the police officer, DSP Usman Ali, thanked Governor Bello Matawali and all those who contributed in securing his freedom and prayed Almighty Allah to reward them abundantly. The kidnappers of the Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism, Mr. Yakubu Lawal, had demanded 100 million naira as ransom. Confirming the commissioner's abduction in a statement on Tuesday morning, the police public relations officer, DSP Rahman Nansel, said the command had already drafted operatives to the scene of the incident with a view to rescuing the victim unhurt. For more details, over to Jamila Ibrahim Busara.
The Commissioner of Police, however, urged the citizens of the state to provide the command with useful information that can lead to the rescue of the victims and arrest the suspects. Meanwhile, Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State has decreed the spate of kidnappings across the state. He spoke after chairing the quarterly meeting of the Nasarawa Enabling Business Environment Council at the Government House on Tuesday. The governor, while reacting to the abduction of his commissioner, said efforts were on top gear to draft additional security to Nasarawa Airgun to safeguard the lives of citizens. The governor, who further expressed worry, added that he had no idea that some of his commissioners did not have police attached to them not until the Commissioner of Information, Culture and Tourism was abducted by gunmen. He therefore urged political appointees and other top government functionaries to be more courteous while discharging their responsibilities. Jamila Ibrahim Dusara reporting for Standard Voice Television.
Some security experts and stakeholders have urged the armed forces of Nigeria and other security agencies to sustain the current onslaught against terrorists and criminals across the country. The stakeholders who spoke to the newsmen in Abuja also urged the security agencies to avoid any lapses that could impede on their current success story. Mr. Abdullahi Jabi, the Secretary General, International Institute of Professional Security, said the current operational tempo was an indication that clear-cut directives had been given to them to act. Mr. Jabi said that before now, clear-cut direction for decisive action against criminals was not given by the President until recently. According to him, factors like conspiracy of international community to refuse to give Nigeria the cooperation to procure arms, armament and equipment in the past contributed to escalation of insecurity. He also identified corruption and diversion of resources meant for men and officers of the military on the battlefields to motivate as well as equip them was equally at the lower ebb. For business news, over to Sumaya Dusara.
Audio Jungle.
Thank you, Samir Ibrahim. And on business updates, Emirates Airlines have announced suspension of its flight from Nigeria with effect from September 1st, 2022. The decision was due to the inability of the airline to repatriate its funds from Nigeria. Recall that airline had in a leaked letter to the Minister of Aviation, Senator Hadi Sirika, said it will reduce its frequencies in Nigeria from 11 to 7 by mid-August over a trapped $85 million in Nigeria. Reports gathered that other airlines may also follow suit as blocked funds belonging to foreign airlines have hit over $600 million, which they are unable to repatriate as the Central Bank of Nigeria could not meet airlines' requests for dollars. In line with the bilateral air service agreement, foreign airlines are expected to issue their tickets in Naira, while the CBN provide the dollar equivalency for repatriation to their home countries. In a statement on Thursday morning, Emirates said it will stop all its flights to Nigeria, adding it might re-evaluate its decision if there was any positive development in the coming days. Still on business, Chief Executive Officer FAE envelopes Mrs. Layu Bakari Okowo on Wednesday said that paper industry could equate oil revenue generation for Nigeria if revived and maximally exploited using backward integration policy. Mrs. Bakari Okowo made the assertion at the company's facility tour by the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the Nigerian Association of Chamber of Commerce Industry, Mines and Agriculture in Lagos. According to her, the paper industry, which she refers to as a gold mine, will generate more foreign exchange, tackle unemployment, and contribute to the country's gross domestic product. The FAE boss, however, stated the need for a functional paper mill in the country and the proper implementation of backward integration policy to ensure ease of access to raw materials for production. She quoted that the sum of $5 million was enough to create paper mills cluster to drive the sector to full potential for the country's sufficient use and for export, whereas she also called for more support to the sector to engender more research in pulp and paper as well as capacity building to develop the industry. Thank you, and that's all on business. I still remain Sumaya Dosara. Do have a pleasant day and keep watching Standard Voice Television.
Thank you, Sumaya Dosara, for the business update. Now on international scene.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
An unspecified number of people are feared dead following an explosion in a mosque in Kabul, the capital of Afghanistan. According to reports, the blast ripped through the worship center during evening prayers on Wednesday, with the casualty figure yet to be ascertained. Khalid Zahran, Kabul police spokesperson, confirmed the blast to local media in Afghanistan, adding that security officers are currently on site. The mosque imam is said to be among the dead, and several others have been rushed to a hospital for treatment. Emergency NGO, a hospital in Kabul, tweeted that it had admitted 27 of the victims, with 5 of them being children. The attack comes a few days after Rahimullah Haqqani, a prominent Afghan cleric, was killed in a suicide bomb blast in Kabul. The Islamic State group had claimed responsibility for the murder of the cleric, who was targeted due to his liberal stand on female education. On sports, Esther Onyenizide was named Woman of the Match following Nigeria's 3-1 win against Canada at the Estadio Alejandro Morero Soto, Alajeda, on Tuesday morning. Mrs. Esther backed a brace for the Falconets in the thrilling encounter. Substitute Chioma Alice netted the third goal deep into stoppage time. Esther has now scored 3 goals in 3 appearances for Nigeria in the competition. It could be recalled that she was also named Woman of the Match in Nigeria's previous game against Korea Republic. The Falconet ended the group stage with 9 points from 3 games. Chris Danjuma's side will face Netherlands in quarterfinals on Sunday. Still on sports, maybe Manchester United will let Cristiano Ronaldo leave Old Trafford in the transfer window this season. United are worried about the loss of the Portuguese national team player, and this is affecting the team's performance. Since then, the new coach of United, Erik ten Hag, announced that Ronaldo, who is 37 years old, is not for sale. Some sports commentators said that United has the potential to play well in the friendly matches it played in Thailand and Australia at the start of this season. Ronaldo has 1 season left on his contract at Old Trafford, but he is looking for a team that will play in the Champions League this year. United finished at 6th place last season, so they will be in the Europa League this season. United's 2 consecutive defeats in the Premier League at the hands of Brighton and Brentford clearly shows how Ronaldo is aware of returning to Old Trafford from Juventus. United, who have failed to win 2 games and are at the bottom of the Premier League table, will host Liverpool on Monday, August 22nd. The 5-time Ballon d'Or winner was United's top goal scorer last season and 3rd in the Premier League, behind Mohamed Salah and Son Min. Chelsea announced last month that they have abandoned their pursuit of Ronaldo, who have been linked with a move to Bayern Munich and Atletico Madrid. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Electricity workers suspend nationwide strike. Zamfara State Governor assents to 3 social protection laws to address multiple vulnerabilities in the state. On business news, Emirates suspends all Nigerian flights over $85 million blocked funds. On international scene, an explosion occurred in a mosque in Kabul. On sports, Onyenizide named Woman of the Match in Falconet win versus Canada at the ongoing 2022 Under-20 Women World Cup. That's the news. On behalf of the production crew, Head of News and Current Affairs Department, I am Samira Ibrahim, wishing you a pleasant day. Keep watching Standard Voice Television News. Goodbye.